Hello. Welcome to Japanese craft beer reviews. Today we will look at a beer from a very special brewery, and it's one of my favorite breweries in Japan, and that is Shiga Kogen beer. And Shiga Kogen is kind of a subsidiary of Tamamura-Honten, which is a long-standing sake producer, Nihonshu producer in Nagano Prefecture. Shiga Kogen, the parent company Tamamura-Honten, was established in 1805, and they're located in Yamanouchi, Nagano Prefecture, which, if you look at a map, and I'll try to put a map up right here, is just up the hill from Nakano City in Nagano Prefecture. And it's also a ski resort as well. There are a lot of good skiing in the wintertime. And the beer division the head brewer there is Sato Eigo, and he joined them in 2003 and began producing in 2004. So 20 years producing beer. And to my mind, they are in the top maybe the top one or two in Japan. I would definitely say that my favorite breweries in Japan are Kyoto Brewing and Shiga Kogen beer. And in fact, the head brewer at Kyoto Brewing did an internship there, apprentice there at Shiga Kogen as well. So Sato Eigo has been producing excellent beer for a long time there, and they also grow some of their own ingredients, including 20% of the hops that they use, and these are generally Shinshu Wase hops, and they use these generally as an aroma hop. The brewery also had a festival called Snow Monkey Beer Live, because in that part of Japan there are monkeys, and it was one of the best beer festivals, music festivals in the country. Not a large-scale one, but certainly one of the best. Lots of interesting breweries would come to attend that here. They have a tap room called the Tep Room. It's adjacent to the brewery, where you can try out a series of their beers, and also the Farmhouse, which is a restaurant and bar just a little bit up the road from them. And there's also a sake brewery museum as well, and the main store, and they have an art gallery there as well. So it's an interesting brewery, and they've done a lot of work. I'll put a link to their website. You can see all the different types of beers they have. And this series, Yamabushi, is a special series for bottle-conditioned beers, Belgian-style especially beers. So okay. All right, let's take a look at the beer today. Okay, and so I am wearing the Shiga Kogen shirt, which has their slogan or motto on it, and that is Nigai Jinsei. Nigai means bitter, Jinsei life, bitter life, and of course we have a little hop there at the end as maybe a kind of period. So the beer for today that we're going to look at is this one. It is called Tamamura-Honten Barrel-Aged Yamabushi Saison Noir, and this is considered a sour or wild beer, but it's definitely a saison as well. And the wild element I'm not quite sure about in it. Now this one is batch 2, as you can see here, and it was bottled on December 20th of 2019, which is about 3.5 years ago. So this Yamabushi, you can see the mask here. I don't know, I guess it's supposed to represent Yamabushi. Yamabushi were the kind of aesthetic hermit monks who kind of wandered around the hills, especially up in northern Japan, doing things like standing under ice-cold waterfalls, hiking for hours and hours and hours on end in the mountain trails. And the idea is to, of course, get rid of any fleshly attachments and enter kind of a pure state. They don't really exist so much anymore. there are places where you can do training like that, and kind of like weekend warrior kind of thing, where they you can, a tourist sort of thing. So you can get kind of the experience of being a Yamabushi. I'll put some pictures up here for you. So Yamabushi is the name for their barrel-aged series at Tamamura-Honten. Batch number 2, it's 8.5% alcohol. It's kind of what we consider a super Saison. Most of their other beers, their barrel-aged beers, are not that high in alcohol. The base is Yamabushi number 2 that they produced, Saison Noir. And this one was aged for 14 months in wine barrels and then laid down for a further fermentation in bottles for 9 months. And then, so this has been around in bottle, it was bottled in 2019 at the end of the year. So it's been further aged in my closet for about 2 years. This, once again, is a gift from a friend. He bought me a few bottles, or several bottles actually, of Tamamura-Honten beers. Thank you, Al, and I appreciate it. I hope I can repay the favor someday. And so on Rate Beer, this one had only one rating when I checked, and that was 3.6, so not really up there with some of the other Yamabushis. On Untappd, there were 18 ratings when I checked, and the average was 4.35 out of 5. So we'll see. Okay, and this cost, according to the receipt that came with the gift, 2,200 yen, maybe about $15 US. So, okay, well, shall we give this one a go? All right, let's pour out this one. It opened with kind of a crack. I'm going to try to decant this kind of carefully because there is, of course, yeast in the bottom of the bottle. I'm not doing a great job of it, but in any case. This one is a bottle with a kind of dimple in the bottom. You can see the space in the bottom and to collect, the sediment over time. Okay, so you can see it's quite dark. Very, very dark. I would say pitch brown, maybe, and about a half a finger of very dark tan foam. Cannot see the carbonation. I can smell it already. Oh my, oh my. Okay, I can smell the age right away, for sure. And it's something like dark cherries or raisins, maybe kind of raisin. Plums for sure. And some fumes. And light kind of red wine sort of note. One reviewer commented that it had something like Merlot, perhaps. Not a strong red wine, but something moderate. Very pleasant aroma, rich. The ingredients are, of course, barley malt and hops, and they've added sake rice, which they grow themselves, and it's called Miyama Nishiki. So sake rice. Not sure how much is in here, and also some sugar, a bit of sugar perhaps for extra fermentation. Yeah, it's very pleasant. They're kind of good. I get the sense it's going to be a little strong. Wow. Wow. Okay, we do get the kind of rich red fruit. Tangy plums. It's got a great mouthfeel. A little bit rough and hot going back, and kind of sticks in the back of the throat as well. A little bit acidic. Some astringency. I do get the barrel in there. It feels like some some wood. Not like a whiskey barrel, but definitely there's wood in there. This is a very complex beer. A lot going on. The rich red fruit. It has aged quite well. The nose definitely has a tinge of oxidation, and so it's been sitting around in this bottle for a while, 3.5 years or so, and but top is clean. It opened with a big pop, so oxidation kind of mild. In the taste, no. This is rich and fruity, tangy. The acidity and the bitterness kind of join in mid-palate and take you through to the finish. This is a very pleasant beer, really. Good job with this one. But it's going to have to be a sipper for me. It is 8.5%, so I cannot, I can't down this like a light lager, even though has been around 90, in the mid-90s these last few days here, so kind of hot outside. Okay, well, I'm going to stop here and enjoy this beer. And so if you go online to Tamamura-Honten or Shiga Kogen beer, you can find a lot of things that they have if you live in Japan, and you can order many kinds of bottles from them. A lot of good barrel-aged stuff, and it's not as pricey as most craft beer. Certainly not as pricey as most aged craft beers. So it used to, I was talking with a friend the other day, and whenever they made something like this, it would sell out immediately. Yeah, it was gone. You had to get online right away if you wanted a bottle. These days, of course, tastes have changed. People are much more into other types of beer, and of course people aren't drinking as much, and so they do have things for sale, and I hope you do try a few of them out. Go to the Tamamura-Honten website and order a few things. Again, if you live in Japan, as far as I know, they do not ship outside of Japan, and they do not export. I could be wrong on that, but and I think they would be kind of a big hit if they did, for sure. But anyway, the focus there is on making the great beer, and they do that very well. Once again, Tamamura-Honten, barrel-aged Yamabushi Saison Noir, 8.5% sour wild Saison from Tamamura-Honten in Yamanochi, Nagano Prefecture. And so I have a playlist of Shiga Kogen beers. You can check out more Tamamura-Honten reviews there if you like. I'm going to stop now. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.